Hello!
Oh, hey, Mal. It's been so long. I just got back from my world tour.
How did that go?
Oh, it was so good. I'm so famous.
Good. That is amazing. I think you probably are the most successful person from our graduating class. How does that feel?
Good.
So today on Mulling with Mel, we are going to be discussing with the famous Lisa Chartrand, aka Ding Dong, none other than high school. Woo! The things that we regret, the cringy things, things that we're embarrassed by, things we miss. That's a good thing too. We're kind of just gonna see where it goes. We got some questions to go over.
I love that we have our little spinny chairs.
The movement really does help.
I feel like I should be wearing a hat. Why am I not matching you? Okay. I live in Winnipeg, and this is what we have to wear outside. Evil Queen vibes from Snow White, like colder than a witch's tit out there. With wind chill, it feels like -35 or whatever. It's painful.
Do you have your drink?
Parched.
Now, what do you think is in this cup? Do you think it's coffee? Do you think it's tea? Do you think it's wine? I guess you'll never know, huh? I'll tell you, but when we're done recording.
What a woman of mystery and intrigue.
Here's the deal. It has been 10 years since graduation. It's just weird where you think your life is gonna be, and it didn't end up that way, and not in a bad way. And especially when I watch Sex and the City, I'm like, oh, they're like 35. Like, I have another 7 years to figure it out. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of high school?
Choir. Debbie and Matt and I, we were so obsessed, like, unhealthily. Like, it was all we talked about. It was like,
I feel like that's not fair, because you guys talked about a lot of weird so.
It would be like, oh my goodness, we had choir auditions, or like, I didn't make it into the choir I wanted, or I made it.
But were you like, yeah, we're gonna be on Broadway one day. We're gonna be in Motab.
Didn't have any desire for the Motab. I absolutely was like, Broadway movies. I mean, I never would have like vocalized that, but absolutely, I wanted to be an actress. If someone asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I'd be like, dental hygienist, teacher. Ever since I was little, like, my family would always make fun of me because they'd ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ballerina, dentist, and a stop sign. I meant a crossing guard. Dream big.
If your goal as a child is to be a crossing guard, you're probably never gonna be disappointed. Unless you get hit by a bus.
Right.
So since high school, how are you the same and how are you different?
Okay, so I still get really hyper and excited, and I like having fun. I feel like I'm still the same person to my core. I'm just like a darker version now. I've seen some stuff. I had a really hard time remembering like anything about high school for this, and so I pulled out some good old journals and I was like, cool.
Can you read us a journal entry?
Absolutely. This made me laugh so hard. My journaling. I came across an entry about the Lonely Lips Club. I was president of the Lonely Lips Club.
What?
Oh, I knew that you wouldn't know what I was talking about. Okay, oh my gosh. I made a Facebook group, a secret Facebook group for anyone that had never been kissed. Sadly, I can't check on it because the night that I had my first kiss, I was like, peace out, and I left the group. It's okay though, because I handed the crown to the next person.
Yeah, I got my first kiss in 9th grade. It was weird. I've never heard of someone saying like, oh, my first kiss was amazing. The first person who tells me that, I was gonna say give them $100, but I don't wanna do that because I'm sure someone will comment and say that they had an amazing first kiss, which they'd probably just be lying.
Another journal goodie
Okay, sweet.
that I found. It's from the summer before our senior year, and it mentioned you. And I was like, Mel, and I'm not going to read from it. I feel like there's too much to edit out. We went on a group date together. Do you remember this? We went to a drive-in movie.
Yeah, I remember my date.
Oh, I remember mine. If you're watching this, I doubt you are. You're a sweet boy. Like, I literally have this in quotations where I wrote, he said, move your head. And I was like, why? And he was like, so I can put my arm around you. And then I wrote, he. He put his arm around me, and then we held hands.
Oh.
Scandal.
Was that your first hand-holding experience?
I snuck a handhold from this same person like a year prior. That first time, I pretended to be asleep in a long car ride and I grabbed his head. When I was reading that was the sweetest thing. Oh my gosh, I was so excited to hold hands with this boy, and it was the biggest deal to me.
You think back to how it felt in that moment. Now, you know, as old women, it's not that big of a deal.
Jason, love you. Like, I love holding your hand, obviously, but it's different.
How are you the most different since high school?
The growth that I've gone through emotionally. I'm a lot more mature. I'm going to talk with you about things if I have an issue. I think I'm a lot more patient. I am more confident. Yeah, I think just older, wiser, and I'm sure in 10 years I'll look back at this and laugh at myself.
When we're 38?
My emotional intelligence is more intelligent.
I remember certain situations when I was in high school that I thought that I was just like such a genius at, and I go, oh, I handled that really well. And then I look back and I'm like, I handled that horribly. In high school, you think you have it all figured out. It's kind of annoying. Like, I look back on high school, Mel, and I'm like, ugh, you little. One I'm really excited to talk about is the obsessions that we had in high school. Why were there certain things that we were obsessed with when we were in high school? Let's talk about that. Miranda sings. The face shake thing that happened in photos all the time. David Archuleta.
Miranda sings. I thought she was so freaking funny. Her videos were hilarious, and I was like, I want people to think I'm funny. I don't know if I like consciously thought that, but I definitely wanted that. But then it like became my identity. It was like too much, too far.
Should we talk about David Archuleta?
The love of my life.
She has a picture of him. Here, ready?
This picture was iconic. This is like brace face, 14-year-old, middle part, crimped hair. I tried so hard, but it was not enough. Let me tell ya, do you know how many times I hugged that poor David? I hugged him 8 times. I would like go up and be like, can I get a picture with you? And then like,
Let's talk about Harry Potter just a little bit. That was a big part of high school. I mean, we were in Dumbledore's army, played Quidditch. We had the Yule Ball, remember that? A big part of junior high and high school was going to the Harry Potter premieres. Did you go to one of the premieres after you got your wisdom teeth out?
yeah, I'm not sure if it was the same day or like the day after, but I'm not gonna miss it for the world, honey. The 6th is probably my favorite book. My favorite movie was probably like Chamber of Secrets. I was really into this, the computer game. Insert picture. Those things like look so dated now, the pictures. The movie premieres. I remember part 1, I went with like Michelle, Adrian, Holden. Don't know if I'm waving to any of, watch like none of these people watch this. Like, miss you guys, and they're like, not here.
Did you like the podcast? What was your favorite part? And then they'll be like, I like sent our practice episode to Adrienne. She's like, can't wait to watch. And I'm like, you never will.
I just said Adrian. I meant to say Adrienne. Cut.
We'll just call her Adrienne the rest of the time. Adrienne Medina. When I was a junior in high school, I get a friend request from none other than Lisa Dingdong. Explain that.
Okay. Once upon a time, my sister got Facebook. It was post MySpace. What's Facebook? I don't know. I made a Facebook, and none of my friends had one because it was like the older people had one. And so I had no one to add but my sister and her friends. And when I was filling out, you know, like, what's your first name? Your last name? Lisa. Ding Dong. My last name was Deschauer, but I put Ding Dong for internet safety reasons.
You use that name in chat rooms?
Okay, so I had Ding Dong as my last name for safety purposes because I was warned about internet safety, online predators, which is hilarious because when I was younger, I would go on Harry Potter chat room sites like on MuggleNet or Pottercast or whatever it was. I would be talking about Harry Potter theories with strangers, and when they'd say, so how old are you? I'd say, 10, because I thought that'll keep me safe because I was like 8.
I went on a chat room with Dylan Buzzard senior year, and it was really, really weird. A lot of them didn't speak the same language we did, and I won't talk about what they said or what they showed us. We exited the chat room quickly.
Sounds very different than my very innocent Harry Potter discussion.
You know, with Dylan Buzzard, it's always an adventure. You don't know what's gonna happen.
I was in yearbook with him senior year, and he had that like clubhouse, playhouse,
The
the playhouse.
Party in the playhouse. Ready?
Like, what a cool guy. That's so fun.
Dylan Buzzard is one of the most creative people I'll ever know. Playhouse parties were amazing. I had my 18th birthday in the playhouse. There's a post, a Facebook post. Here it is. Due to popular request, Allison Jones and Lisa Dingdong, I will be unicycling to school again tomorrow. See y'all on the streets. Let's bring out the yearbook. Here's your books.
This beautiful drawing of Nicolas Cage.
There's so many Nick Cage things.
It's creepy. Cage rage. When we wrote in everyone's yearbooks, it was like a big deal. And it was like, oh, I gotta put in a lot of thought. I've gotta be funny and sweet. And then if it was like a boy I had a crush on, like I wish I knew what I wrote in theirs. I found a really cute memory from my 16th birthday. So it's like Sam Page Mackenzie, they got all these boys to come and bring me roses on my birthday.
Aww.
Like, it was cute, but the cringe, this is something I'm so embarrassed of. I invited so many people to come to a dance party at my house. Does that fit my personality? Absolutely not. My birthday is in August. We lived in the fires of hell in Arizona. Who thought it was a good idea to have a dance party in a garage in Arizona in August? I don't know. Mass text went out, people came, and I was like embarrassed. I left my own birthday party. It mortifies me, and that's like the type of thing, and it's like I didn't even think, oh, this is weird that I'm not at my birthday party. Things that seem so obvious now that I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. That's so rude and weird. But like, I just, in high school, I was like, what? I'm so flighty. Someone was like, did you leave your birthday party?
You sounded like the cool girl in those high school movies that's like, yeah, this is lame, don't want to be here anymore. All right, guys, can you lock the door before you leave? Thanks.
If anything, it was just major anxiety. I remember looking around and feeling like I was gonna throw up. I was like, this is not me. Sorry, Teddy's crying. I'm just gonna grab him
Okay.
real quick. We have a special guest.
How are you, buddy?
He woke up on the wrong side of the bed. He's feeling kind of sad.
I hate it when I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, especially on the floor.
I loved She's the Man and The Dark Knight.
Those are so incredibly opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Mine is probably Never Been Kissed.
Yes.
It was always weird because I remember when I was in high school, I would say things like, oh, I can't wait till I'm older and I have more freedom and I have a job because I hate school. She was this adult coming back to high school. Can you imagine being an adult back in high school? That actually sounds terrible.
It sounds awful. I wouldn't talk to people. I'd probably just be very academic.
Or you would be like that cool person because you didn't give a so you'd be like Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You, where, you know, he's super hot, super mysterious because he hates everyone. Mesa on a Friday night, we were all so depressed about it. And it was like, well, text so-and-so, see what they're doing. Or, you know, and you just would like move from house to house. What do you miss the most?
Probably the consistency of how often I got to be with friends. That's like summed up.
Clara, she would just come over and we had TiVo. She would record her shows that she would watch at my house and I wouldn't even be in the same room as her to watch them. Or she'd be like, hey, I'm getting off of dance. Can I stop by, hang out? And I'm like, yeah. And then it just stopped happening. Like when we graduated, it just was over.
A lot of fun memories of very rushed lunches, driving, like as a senior when we were allowed to leave campus for lunch and we'd go to people's houses. Like that was always really fun. If someone forgot their ID, like hiding in a car of like a friend's and like people like checking the cars, like making sure you're not sneaking people out.
When I was a junior and we couldn't leave campus, I would go with other cross-country girls that were seniors and I'd hide in their trunk. Like they'd like close me in there. They're like, you're not claustrophobic, right? I'm like, I guess we'll find out. And they'd close the, you know, and I'd ride all the way in the trunk.
So dangerous. Imagine if they got rear-ended.
I know, I'd be dead. But you didn't think about that. You're like, oh, I want to go be cool with the seniors for 30 minutes.
That was the biggest thing though, is how much we looked up to older people. Wow, the seniors. And then it's like once they left, there was a lot of sadness. It was like, oh, and then it's like, where are the cool kids? Like, where are the old people now?
I was bummed, and yeah, I really looked up to them, and it's really funny because if you think about it, that's only like a 1.5 to 2 year difference. And then when you get older, like some of my best friends are like 4 to 5 years older than me. And in high school, you know, it was so cool to be friends with the girl that was a year older. Why? Is there anything that you would have done differently?
I want to say be more reliable. But that's something that I've learned with age and that I'm still learning, like how to communicate better, how to have healthy boundaries, how to not ditch people. Oh my gosh, like if I gave a ride to someone, not get distracted and drive off somewhere else to another party or something and then get a message like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oops." It was never like intentional. I just anxiety, undiagnosed ADHD, and immaturity all combined.
I would freak out. Like I would, on like a Friday afternoon, I'd be like, oh my God, like what am I gonna do tonight? And sometimes it would stress me out so bad, I just wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, I can't pick. I mean, that sounds so bratty too. Like, oh my God, I just can't decide what to do tonight. So I'm just gonna hang out and play Lego Star Wars with my brother, which was always a great time. I would get social anxiety from being too social. There were things that I did in high school that I'm just like, ugh. And you know, especially like when it came to dating and stuff, where I would get so mad at these boys for doing this and doing that and not thinking about me and you know, going out with this other girl instead. And it's like, well, we were young and stupid. At the end of the day, I feel like the biggest thing in high school is you're looking out for yourself.
We're very self-absorbed. It's like, are you saying bye-bye?
Winnie the Pooh.
Woo!
Winnie the Pooh.
Woo! 1 second.
Okay. No problem, Bob.
I had a lot of fun if we went to like Applebee's karaoke nights.
Oh my God, Ronnie! My sister, because she's 3 years older than us, we sang karaoke at a bar a couple months ago with some friends. She's like, this is the first time I've sang karaoke. And I'm like, you didn't sing karaoke with Ronnie? It's so funny because you said like, you would look up to what your sister would do. I would do the same thing where my sister was like, hated everything, okay? So I'm like, I gotta hate everything too. Hopefully she thinks this is funny. What did you hate about high school and why? Wow, you're an optimist.
I was. Like,
I love everything.
no, that's not true. I almost didn't pass government.
Good thing you live in Canada though. I mean, it was American government, right? Dude, government. Sorry. Oh, I forget about him. I'm sorry.
Seriously though.
I get you on that. Anyways, back to you.
That was so cute. Back to you. And yes, my son is running around with Nutella on his face because I wanted him to be quiet for this.
I think we graduated with like 835. I was probably the number like 824. Did you ever imagine what your life would be like after high school while you were still in high school?
From reading my journal, I was very excited I can't wait to get married and have kids. Definitely like cultural, but I have always wanted to be a mom. Like I love kids and I have no memory of ever letting him try Nutella before. Like I am a good mom. We read a lot of books. And he's like,
Did you ever wish you were friends with someone in high school that you weren't friends with? Like you would look at them, you're like, oh, I wish I was better friends with them.
I thought really hard about this. I couldn't think of anyone specifically, but I'm very much a people pleaser. If I knew someone didn't like me, I was very bothered by it. Like, it hurt me, and I would, like, feel sick about it. And I was like, what is it that they don't like about me? I could refer you to an episode of Recess where TJ Detweiler has the same problem because he's like, everyone loves me. Like, I have so many best friends. And then there's this one kid that's like, I don't like TJ. And he tries to win him over. They go on this really great adventure together. And then at the end, he's like, so do you like me now? And he's like, no. That's how I felt about, like, there's one girl I can think of that I felt like I tried really hard to become her friend. And I was like, what's wrong with me? We had mutual friends a lot. And it really baffled me. I was like, why do I rub her the wrong way? What is it about me? And like, it really bothered me. It still does, obviously. Oh, don't unplug that. I never experienced like bullying before, or everyone was like very kind to me. I know.
I'm trying to listen to you. Teddy, you look like you're having so much fun.
I see a brown handprint on the wall. I kind of want to like go over to my in-laws and like not clean this off and have them think it's poop.
This is a really important question. So a girl starting high school next week, she comes to you for advice. What do you tell her?
It's all gonna be okay. Honestly, that things are really hard right now and they're just gonna get better. I'm gonna say that. If my high school self like could see I feel like I could cry, like, actually, like, thinking about this. If teenage Lisa saw the family that, like, I've created, or, like, the experiences I've gone through, the good and the bad, and, like, everything I've learned, she wouldn't believe it. You're gonna grow a lot, and just to have fun and do your best, be loving and kind to people, and life is gonna be really great. It's gonna be really hard, but it's gonna be worth it, and you're gonna learn a lot. My favorite advice, John Green from the Vlog Brothers. Everyone is more concerned about themselves, so don't even worry. Like, no one is looking at you as much as they're worried about people looking at them.
That's so true. I feel like that's just life too, you know? Not even high school, just life, Teddy. Anyways, well, Lisa, it has been such a privilege and an honor having you on Mulling with Mel. I look forward to having you on again. There's a lot of topics that we want to cover. Thanks for kind of like just rolling with the punches and doing this with me.
I love you. Thank you for having me, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, I love you. Bye.
Bye.